Hey there, I'm Mark Lohman of Sophos. Today I brought a snapshot of a Windows 10 machine from April 16, 2021, so it's running a 2-month-old version of our Sophos Intercept X endpoint protection software. I've disabled the internet connections, so no updates or cloud lookups are possible. This outdated version of our endpoint protection software runs a version of our signature-agnostic attack detection engine called Hitman Pro Alert, which was compiled on December 14, 2020, so that engine is 6 months old. And I also brought along a few images. The outdated version of our protection software is up against the REvil ransomware that was distributed during the Kaseya VSA incident on July 2, 2021, so 2 months later, meaning our protection software has no prior knowledge of this attack. I'm running the exact same attack command that came in via the Kaseya agent monitor running on impacted machines. Some of the commands return an error since they attempt to disable Microsoft Defender. But that protection is disabled on this machine because Sophos Intercept X is protecting it instead. Immediately, our dynamic shellcode protection, our proprietary system-level memory protection, intercepts the attack because it exhibits unusual memory allocation behavior. I am opening the Windows event log to look up more details about this alert. A process named msmpeng.exe, a 2014 version of Windows Defender, was found running malicious code via a DLL that was side-loaded into this vulnerable version of Defender's anti-malware service executable. The detection also includes hashes of this malicious DLL, wherein the REvil ransomware is embedded. And this illustration shows exactly where Sophos Intercept X intercepted the malicious code execution. No files were encrypted because the ransomware was stopped before code execution reached the function that starts encrypting files on the local disk. Because our dynamic shellcode protection sets a hard limit on how often processes can allocate additional executable memory, which is typically necessary to deobfuscate a hidden payload, it is very effective against a wide range of malware, including ransomware and staged delivery of threats like Cobalt Strike. And in this incident, it was the REvil ransomware unwrapping itself inside Microsoft's outdated Defender process that was purposely brought along in an attempt to evade defenses. Let's do the same attack again, but now with dynamic shellcode protection turned off. So here is the same 2 months old snapshot of this Windows 10 machine protected by Sophos Intercept X. Again, it does not possess any knowledge of the attack that happened 2 months later. This will illustrate that other signature-agnostic and behavior-based detection capabilities of the product were also in a good position to stop this ransomware attack. Again, let's execute the same command and payloads that were involved in the attack via Kaseya's RMM software. Immediately after the ransomware unfolded itself in memory, it starts to write ransom notes in every folder it can find on the machine. As soon as REvil finds a document or image, it starts to encrypt them. Our CryptoGuard anti-ransomware protection immediately jumps in as soon as it notices the encryption of multiple files and reverts them to their original state. It can do this because it creates temporary copies of every file that is open for writing, in this case by Microsoft's outdated Defender application under control of the REvil ransomware. As you can see, while the ransomware attempted to encrypt the images in this folder, none of them were lost. In the Windows event log, we recorded more details about this alert, showing what application triggered our protection and which files were altered by the ransomware and caused Intercept X to roll back the temporary copies of these files. Because of the zero trust design of our anti-ransomware protection, these images open as if nothing happened. You may have noticed that shortly after CryptoGuard intercepted the attack, there was also a HPML, so Dino behavior detection, another layer in our protection stack. When HPML Sodino 8 triggers, which is a runtime detection, it means that the REvil ransomware, also known as Sodino Kibi, was found running in memory. Even though malware is usually obfuscated, so it cannot be easily identified by network inspection and scans on disk, it always loses its obfuscation in memory. The adversary may use some trickery to make memory detection difficult. The ultimate CPU instructions and data necessary to perform the encryption attack remain largely the same. A proper memory signature created by experienced researchers is often effective for many months and typically years. But let's do something crazy and see how universal our anti-ransomware protection is. Here I have a snapshot of a Windows 7 machine running a 4-year-old version of Sophos Intercept X. Internet is disabled, so no cloud lookups and no updates. So the protection has no prior knowledge of the attack that happens 4 years into the future. Again, there are files on here for the ransomware to encrypt, and I have copied the same payload from the REvil ransomware attack from the future onto this machine. I am running the same attack command like before, which sets up the attack, whereafter the REvil ransomware unfolds in memory and starts to attack the files on the machine, just like what happened 4 years later via the Kaseya IT management software. The ransomware attack was intercepted, and a detailed recording of the alert was logged to the Windows event log. It again shows what files were involved, so let's see what happened to these files and if they still open like nothing happened. A ransomware attack usually requires considerable skill and effort on the part of the attackers. Once an attacker has penetrated a network, it usually takes from a few hours to a few weeks before they have gained sufficient knowledge of the victim environment to efficiently deploy the encryption attack. During this time, defenders have a chance to notice the intruder and prevent the imminent attack. In contrast, an attack via remote monitoring and management software is deployed automatically within seconds, with no signs of an impending attack at the victim's end for them to detect. Such an attack, which impacts multiple businesses at once via a managed service provider, usually happens through stolen access credentials that offer entry to an RMM control dashboard. But such an attack is typically isolated to a single MSP. It is rare that a ransomware attack hits multiple MSPs at once. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching and stay safe.